In episode 8, Jen has the list of people who own that particular car, and she's doing an investigation on her own. She's going to their houses and explaining to them that she's a real estate agent and the market right now is booming and would they be interested in selling their home. And that's when she starts snooping around and gets into the garage and looks at the car. The first house she goes to isn't the guy, and he had an alibi. And when she returns to the car and Judy and Nick are there waiting for her, they start going over the list and going over the people that they're going to go to next. And they notice there's a lot of businesses on this list. And one business in particular, a place called TKG Arts, gets mentioned, and Judy all of a sudden grabs the list and wants to start looking at it. And Judy isn't feeling so great, and the more and more she looks at the list, the more nervous she gets and the worse she feels. To the point where they actually have to take her home. So Jen and Nick take her home, and as Nick is tending to her, she breaks things off with Nick. She explains that she was engaged earlier and she still has feelings for that guy, and in her heart, she just thinks that Nick deserves somebody better than her. And this completely takes Nick off guard, and he just slowly exits the room. And while Nick was tending to Judy, Jen continued to go door to door because Nick cross-referenced the list with DUIs, and one name in particular popped up because he had 2 DUIs and he owns that car. So Jen heads over there, and as soon as he sees Jen, this guy is a little bit creepy and says, "Sure, I'll talk about it," and offers her a drink. She denies the drink, but when he won't let her in his garage, then she accepts the drink, and sure enough, the two end up in the garage and she's looking at the car. But when she finds out that he's never actually driven the car, it's just a passion project, she tries to get the hell out of there, but he's kind of got her pinned in. She actually has to physically assault him, and she yells, "No means no, motherfucker," and leaves. Now at this point, Judy's feeling better, and she storms into Steve's office because with these symptoms she's feeling, she doesn't think it's just nerves. She thinks she's pregnant. And because the only person she's been with is Steve, she's telling him that it's his. He's confused, however, because she was with somebody else, and she says, "No, I never actually had sex with that guy." But Steve isn't exactly thrilled to hear this. He says, "All right, call me in 9 months when you actually have the baby, or just put yourself out of your misery and take care of it now, because we've been here and we've done that, and you're just setting yourself up for pain." The two are interrupted, however, when a girl comes in, and it becomes painfully obvious to Judy that he's seeing her when he refers to Judy as a quote-unquote client. When she leaves the room, Judy looks at Steve and he says, "I mean, you were seeing somebody. By the way, what else did you want to say? You said there were things you wanted to discuss." But she's so upset about this that she just leaves. So Jen and Judy meet back at the house, and Judy explains to her how she thinks she's pregnant, but she actually hasn't taken a test. She just went straight to Steve's. And while they're waiting for the test results, she tells Jen how she broke off things with Nick and how he deserves better than her. But Judy is confident that she's pregnant. Unfortunately, when the test result comes back in, it's negative. And she's really heartbroken about this, but Jen says, "Well, the good news is you can drink now." So that's what the two do. The two start drinking, and Jen is telling Judy about her day and her awful experience with that guy. But at one point, Judy says, "Look, I know you want to find this person so badly, but I really don't think it's going to make you feel better." When Judy goes back in the house, the test has changed, and now it's saying it's positive, and she's thrilled. But when she goes to the doctor explains that, "No, you aren't pregnant. Your estrogen levels are so low that it's impossible for you to get pregnant. If you leave a test out that long, sometimes it can result in a false positive." She asks about the symptoms she's feeling, but he says that might be early menopause. "I'm really sorry." And while she's getting this horrible news, Jen is in the waiting room waiting for her, but she's also on the phone with Nick. The investigator from Laguna has told her to cease and desist from this personal investigation she's running. But that hasn't stopped Nick, and he's still going down the list, and he ends up at TKG Arts. And as he's on the phone with Jen, he sees that a lot of the art in this art store is from Judy. And at this point, Judy has come out of the doctor's office and she's really upset. So Jen says, "Hey, I gotta go. It's an emergency." And Nick says, "Yeah, so do I." And as Judy is crying on Jen's shoulders, Nick is just standing there shocked at what he's looking at. Thanks so much for checking out this recap. If you don't see the next video there, don't worry. It'll be up in a day or two or as quickly as I can get to it. Please consider subscribing to this channel. It would really help me out. And then like the video if you liked it and hit thumbs down if you don't.